Hi, Ryan Intermediate. This is Catherine coming to you from the Coach's Corner with another Tuesday Toolkit. In today's lesson, I want to talk to you about how we can use audiobooks powerfully in the classroom. Pernell Rip, who is an author and blogger and a literacy guru, reminds us that the cognition that happens, whether we're reading with our eyes or whether we're reading with our ears, can be monumental when we put those two things together. Audiobooks are proven by research to improve comprehension, boost confidence, and it helps students want to engage in discussion and also just builds their self-esteem as readers. The key to using audiobooks in your classroom is to be intentional about how you're choosing to use them. First, we determine a reason. Why did you want to use an audiobook? And then you need to choose a strategy so that students are engaged in an academic task while listening. Okay, so we want to start by one strategy that we can start with is simply using audiobooks to hook readers. This is simple. Play a snippet of a text from an audiobook and then stop it, get kids excited, and then pass out a book. This strategy is called hook the middle. You can play a very suspenseful moment from the middle of the text and then stop the audiobook. And here, this is where kids are left wanting more, which is a great place to have them because then you can incorporate this strategy of asking questions or making predictions. Have students generate those predictions or questions using the evidence from what they heard. Then they will have a text that they can read with purpose, and their purpose will be to go through and record evidence that confirms or clarifies predictions or answers questions that they came up with directly. All right, using audiobooks are great for a flipped classroom model. So here, you would have students listen to either a chapter or an excerpt or just a part of the story or the whole story before you actually sit down to do the reading. During this time, you should remember that hearing once will build the read aloud confidence for your students. So you should do this before you want to do a shared read aloud. An option is to have students follow along with the text as they watch a flipped classroom or listen to a flipped classroom recording. And then you could even give them a sticky notes to sticky paragraphs in the book that they would be willing to read out loud once they've heard it once. Next, we have student narrators. And this is a fun one because what you can do is listen to a little bit of an audiobook and as a class, teach students to evaluate the quality of the narrator. You can talk about things like intonation, speed, and the dramatic effect used by the author. From there, have students brainstorm ways that they can improve their own fluency to do an even better job than the audio reader. Finally, have students re-narrate a section of that text using Flipgrid. One way that you can modify this is by having students actually perform the section that they reread jigsaw style in Flipgrid. You can put these Flipgrid videos in an order so that each group could be responsible for one excerpt for reading aloud and improving, and then they watch them in order so they have an opportunity to hear a fluently read text in order. So again, you would start by evaluating and discussing the quality, create a plus delta chart of the tone, speed, and dramatic effect of that reader, and then the student groups will jigsaw their sections using your technology tool. So these are just some fun ways to incorporate audiobooks intentionally. I would never just let them sit and listen. We need to give them an academic task so that the cognition is constantly moving. Pernell Rip reminds us that audiobooks may be just the thing that makes a child willing to read. And so we should use them, but not in isolation. For more information, you can visit pernellrip.com or pernellsrip.com. You can also go to readingrockets.org. And finally, if you're willing to let me come in the classroom and help incorporate this during a novel study unit, I would love to. Have a great day.